Hey, everybody. Tracy here. I'm just going to do a tech check really quick, make sure all is good. Um, let's see. Yep. Looks like broadcast is happening. Hello, everyone. I know I've been gone for a while. First, I want to greet any of you that are watching live and those that are going to watch a recording or possibly listen in on the podcast. So, those that know me know I've had a significant life change, and I told myself I wasn't going to cry a lot, but I can't guarantee it. I got a box of Kleenex, but I knew in my heart I had to tell the story of what happened to my husband, um, because I think it's different than what everyone might assume happened to Dave. Uh, and why it was such a surprise. So, again, thanks for coming on with me for my first broadcast in probably 7 months, I think. Yeah, 7 months. And so, hi, Suzanne. How are you? um, so, first, I wanted to say that Dave was like my biggest fan. And normally on these broadcasts, he had made me dinner before, and he'd have it streaming on YouTube in the living room. And then when I would come out, we'd have a great talk or something. So, um, days that I just thought maybe I didn't want to keep going, or maybe I should, just when you have your own business, times can get tough. And he was just always supportive. And when building, writing the book and everything, he's just like, you got to write the book. And you got to do your broadcast. And so I know that it's time. I feel like I can speak, and I'm in a good place, comparative to with everything that happens. So anyway, um I know this topic isn't convenient. I don't think talking about grief or um death will surprise us, and all those first moments come, and we're in the holidays. And because of all the work I've been doing with my own thought process, I thought if I could, he and I together in some way, bring his story forward. And then also, I think the next couple of weeks I'll do stories on just how I've come through grief, how I'm walking with it, how it changes, how it's changed me. And then what I hope, for myself as well, for anybody going through grief, the hopes for the future, right? And the hopes of continued love and continued joy of having an experience with somebody in your life, and how that might feel later. And then also just how we can be kind to ourselves, or maybe or we're supporting someone that's going through grief. It can be hard to know what to say. And so I just thought I would, I couldn't just go back to, let's talk about broccoli right now, or let's talk about, weight loss. It just, and I thought I just need to pick this topic for right now. So I've got chicken scratch notes, and I'll probably hop around a little bit. But so what happened to Dave? Dave was very healthy, and that guy is like, we do 14-mile, hikes. We rode bikes. We went, um, on lots of walks. He loved to row. So he was like an anomaly. He was 77 years old and an anomaly. Like everyone said, how in the world was he like that? He had a great attitude. He had a joy for life. And I think one of the funny parts was he always said he was trying to always keep up with me. And I'm like, excuse me, he's exhausting me. He's like, can we be a little lazy for a little while? But I think through that part, we just tended to, push each other a little bit, and have fun and do things. So he had just had his physical in April. And basically they said, yeah, you're doing great, all this stuff. And they said, well, your blood pressure's up a little bit, but not bad. But, we thought, okay, we can do something about that. No big deal. But he basically had a clean bill of health. So, the harsh reality of what happened to him was that he did have um, some cholesterol in the artery that brings blood to the heart. Okay, so I guess that's what the doctor said when I spoke with her after all the chaos of the night. So what had happened was that night, it was after my last broadcast, May 17th, is when things went, just my whole life changed and his changed. And so he basically that evening, um, after a day of feeling like he had gas or feeling like um, maybe he had COVID or maybe he had the flu. So he couldn't place it. And I think a lot of that was because he just had a physical. He was given a clean bill of health. So a heart issue just wasn't on his radar. And he had texted me while I was, working, and he said, "Hey, call me when you get a moment." And he said, "Yeah, I just can't get rid of this gas." And so I bought him Gas X, and he was home sleeping, taking a nap. But he was so determined he had a virus or something. He didn't even want me to hang around him. Um, and so before the May 17th broadcast, we had dinner, and he just still wasn't even thinking that could be something going on with his heart. And so again, flu, I'll feel better in the morning. And he had a little bit of this symptom the night before. Um, a lot of it, I guess, during work, where he was agitated and just kind of walking around trying to walk it off. And is what his coworkers told me. So anyway, um, we'd gotten into bed, and then I turned out the lights, and I figured something was wrong, and sure enough. And so he was in cardiac arrest. Um, my biggest advice for anybody, I mean, I'm a health coach, I'm a personal trainer, and I'm so glad I had just gotten recertified in CPR, and that instructor was so good, because I was much more prepared mentally to step in and do CPR on my husband. And one important thing is, if you're alone with someone, you check for that, airway, you do all that. You're going to check, is there a pulse? But you've got to get on the phone with 911 as fast as you can if you're by yourself. That was one of the hardest things for me to do. I started CPR, and I'm realizing I'm by myself, and I've got to get on the phone, which meant I had to stop CPR on him so that I could get people to us in time. And that was like the longest 8 minutes. I was on with 911 about 8 minutes, and just got exhausted and tired. And that's how hard, if you're going to do CPR, you have to work. It's tiring, and it's not like you see on TV. Okay. So advice number one, go get certified. I don't care if you don't work in the industry, but you just don't know when something's going to happen. Then you got to step in. Okay. And I think I was pretty crazy and yelling. I was yelling at the 911 gal, but she had to keep slowing me down, because even though I was trained, you still have some stress involved. And so anyway, I won't go through all the details, but 911 finally came, and they tried to get a pulse, and nothing was happening. They finally got him into the aid car, and then they finally came in and said, "Hey, he's got a pulse." And I'm like, yes, because I knew he was strong. I knew he was healthy, and I just had to determine he would be okay. So what happened then is he kept losing his pulse. His heart kept stopping. And by the time he was able to get a doctor there to scope him, and everything just took a while. And I'm not being totally all the details, but um, when he came out of that treatment, where she was able to put some stents in and come out, she was exhausted. She was like, "That took forever." And one of the reasons was his arteries curved, And so she couldn't even get the equipment where it needed to go. But what happened to him? He did not have a blockage of cholesterol like everyone, I think, maybe assumed because I didn't know how to say it, but a piece of it broke loose. And what happened then was it caused a tear in his that artery bringing the blood to his heart. And why we couldn't at any time we, say when I was doing CPR, I don't think I cleared it. I didn't have the strength. But when the medics finally did, but it would keep clotting, is what she said. It doesn't know the blood is meant to clot. So it doesn't know that when it's in the heart that it shouldn't clot there. And she said, but now he did great. They put a patch, like some kind of a Band-Aid in there to stop it. She goes, I cleaned a little bit of the stuff out. We put some stents in. He's got a little bit of stuff going on the other side of his heart, but you're not going to have to deal with that. He's great. He's fine. He'll do, we did it. Basically, she thought she had won. And so did I. And so I was like, yeah, it's Dave. He's going to be great. So what happened then was that because he had gone into cardiac arrest like 6 times, it was his brain that didn't survive. So we had to make that choice on the 23rd of May to let him go because his brain couldn't keep his body alive. And he would have been in a comatose state and just, it just would have been a horrible life for him. And it was so hard for me to, just because his body could have gotten up and with some hardcore PT and, recovering from just the process of saving his life, that would have been a tough recovery. But, his brain just couldn't do it. So what I want to do is tell the story because he's healthy. He wasn't on anyone's radar. He, my brother had talked about, he'd known he'd had heart surgery. We have different fathers, but his father had a history of heart disease. So he had what's called an angiogram done where they went and scoped and they looked for, cholesterol in the heart and were able to take care of anything and just make sure he was okay. And that's something that would have benefited Dave had we really known that maybe he should have that done. But what I've come to terms with is that, I can second guess that whole night. I can second guess, the process of where I thought how stupid we were. I was so upset with myself. And then I was mad at him too, because why didn't he know this was something different, And you go through these weird processes with grief and trying to understand why things happen to certain people or why things have to happen the way that they do, right? So the reality was, and I couldn't look this up until later, was that because this happened at home, he only had like a 5% chance of survival because the blood was going to keep clotting that artery. So, one reason I really wanted to say this was because we were so confused with what was going on for him. We thought it was everything else but that because he was so healthy. And he's just, he's just like, he's Dave, he'll be fine. So what I wanted to say was, number one, if you do have heart disease and you're under care, definitely change your lifestyle. Okay. Do what you need to do because it's very hard for the person on this end that's left. But it's always harder for the ones left behind, right? That's what they say. If you're healthy, we can just maybe, gosh, we don't want to assume anything, but maybe we need to just say, okay, maybe just go check it out. But even then, it may not, again, what I'm realizing too, and I've been told this, he could have gone to the doctor and nothing would have been registering, And so then you go to the next step of maybe it was his time. And I hate saying that. It's hard to say that, but I'm able to kind of process that better now. Um, but one thing I do know, he and I talked about things, we were trying to make sure each other was prepared if the other person passed away. Here's the passwords, here's where the funds are, and all of this. And he always say, well, Tracy, you're going to be fine. And I said, well, so will you, and so we thought we did talk about death, and we talked about the way that maybe what how he wanted to go was basically how he did. He wanted to be healthy and vibrant and climb into bed, and if that's the time, then that would be the time. So I've come to terms with that in this grief process. So um the the other thing I just wanted to say too was that through his passing, um and that process of that week, from the 17th when it first happened to when we said goodbye to him, um, I felt like there was a divine intervention of some kind in so many ways. And those that were around me and around the hospital at that time, just as to point, my son and his wife were in Egypt for a 2-month vacation. They got waylaid somewhere, which made it so they couldn't get on a cruise and they could come home. And it was something kind of distressing for them, but they were like able to come home and be here. Other things happened just with the placement of people and family being able to get here, and just the gratitude that he was trying to look at all these positives throughout the week. Um, Something greater than myself, whatever your belief structure is, God, the divine, the universe, helping our family come together, helping us be together. Where all of his kids, we were there, they were there, and family was able to come and be with him, and the hospital was amazing, and just so much gratitude, and from my heart goes out to that opportunity. So the other thing I wanted to say was, now that it's almost 7 months, I still feel like it was the 17th for me. That's the last time I spoke with him. But as I see, in the news and everything like that, of other people passing, and uh, I know that none of us are immune to that, and with that, I just am so grateful for every single day, every minute that I have. And one thing that I feel so blessed with Dave is because he was so vibrant, and he was such a talented singer and vocalist. I feel like I can listen to him like I could listen to Frank Sinatra, or I could pull up his videos, or I can pull up music and hear him sing, just like I might be able to do with somebody else. And so I feel like he just had that ability. And in the videos that we have of him, I'm gonna cry anyway. So that he left some pretty amazing light and beauty and joy, and like I said, music and love, and he just was like that. He he just I don't know how to explain. He was a light. So with that, seeking the gratitude and the joy of moving from extreme grief and despair to where it turns to joy and turns to um, um, just honored to have been able to know someone so amazing. So I know his family feels the same way, and that was the other thing he gifted us with, in his passing, was that we could all be together, and we just feel so much stronger as a family, and his son and in the Chicago area, and his daughter, grandkids, and I'm blessed with Elise and Baron. We just, it just really united us, and and that's just incredible. And so, um, when we had his service too, it was like, I think everyone, we also, how can we be more like Dave? How can we maybe live a little bit more joyously and in a state of service and to the world and and leave such a fantastic legacy as to that type of a person. So anyway, I did pretty good not crying till the end. But like I said, I know I needed to get back to broadcasting, and I know I just couldn't come out and not discuss this because I hope that between he and I and me telling his story that that we can save a life, that we can um, make a difference. And then again, I'm committed to open up and just talk about my journey, just because I know there's others that are going through grief right now. And um, hopefully, maybe I can give some tidbits of information and just my journey that might help somebody else. So, so anyway, I think that's good for tonight. But definitely, I think it's so important to take charge of your health, and then truly, if you are diagnosed with something, that you can change through being more active, your diet or whatever, or if you're really healthy and you feel something kind of weird going on, go get it checked, okay? So, um, and then let's all, for Dave, decide we can move forward with more joy and know our blessings, and as we get more towards Christmas and all the months after that. So, okay, well, I love all of you, and thanks for listening. And again, I hope it helps. And I will be committed to being here now again every Tuesday night. All right. Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks, everybody. I can't even find the button to end the broadcast. It's been so long. Here it is. Okay. Bye.